What's going on, everyone? It's kylecroese and welcome to a new video. I was supposed to actually deliver this video at the start of July, but I got pretty caught up with doing those Mission Impossible podcasts, The Road to Reckoning, which you can listen to right now on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get them. I'm going to do a last plug for that. And thank you so much for everyone who's listened to those so far, been enjoying the journey. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. But without further ado, let's get on to the best movies of the year so far. This will not include films such as Dead Reckoning Part 1, which I did talk about on the podcast, and it won't include Talk to Me, Barbie, and Oppenheimer, although I have seen all three of those movies, but they will not be included on this list. I have honorable mentions and I have a top 10, so we're going to start with some honorable mentions. First of all, Megan. I had little to no expectation for this movie. I thought it was going to be another Blumhouse kind of doll movie, jump scare fest, but it really wasn't. It was a much more kind of tongue-in-cheek film than I thought, and it was actually very entertaining, and I enjoyed both my viewing in the cinema and watching the unrated cut at home as well. I just wish it leaned more so in the comedy aspect, or it leaned more so in the dramatic aspect, and I wish there was a little bit more blood, even in the unrated cut. I wish there was a little bit more blood, but other than that, I really had fun with the film, and I would recommend you guys see it. Watch the unrated cut. I think it's the better version. But that's just me. Dungeons & Dragons Honor Among Thieves. I had a little expectation for this one because I saw the trailer and thought it was going to be like a Marvel Fest, Marvel film, Marvel humor, that kind of stuff. And that meta humor they're doing at the moment. And it really did look like that in the trailers, but I was pleasantly surprised by this movie. It was really, really funny. Chris Pine was excellent. I thought Jean-Rene Page was excellent as well. And the story was really fun. I really liked the characters, the party. Everyone had some great chemistry together. I just wish that some characters were written a bit better, but that's just me. I thought it was really fun, and I'm looking forward to a sequel. Extraction 2 is my next one. I really enjoyed the first movie, but I think this one is better. I think it's got better action, and I think it's the choreography and the fight choreography, I think, is much better than the first. The story's kind of the same, although I did think we got more scenes to do with Nikki and Yaz. I did like their dynamic, and especially what happens between those characters in this movie. I think in the third one, there's going to be a lot more ways we could build on Nikki as a character. Tyler's just kind of Tyler, like he is like I'd say an archetype of an action character, but it really works, and Chris Hemsworth really pulls it off, and it's a brutal and visceral movie, and another enjoyable watch from Sam Hargraves. Then I have Scream 6. This is the sixth film in this franchise. I rewatched all the Screams this year as well to get ready for it. Had a lot of fun doing that and watching that with my friend Sophie, and this one is probably my third favorite in the franchise. Like the first one, the fourth one, and then I think on my rankings that I did in the March video, I think I put this as my third favorite. I thought this one was really effective. I really enjoyed the sequences. I thought they were really well executed. I really liked the sequence between the two apartment buildings and the ladder, and the subway sequence as well. It's just the revealing of the killers. I don't really like all that stuff. I think that's easily the weakest part of these movies, and this one was no different. Not a great movie by any means, but really one of the better Scream movies. And that's it for honorable mentions. I've got a top 10, and I'm going to give that to you now. Number 10 is The Artifice Girl. This is the directorial debut from Franklin Rich. He also acts in it as well. And I thought it was a very interesting and very thought-provoking movie. I really enjoyed the first half of the movie, more so compared to the second half. And I think it gets a little too melodramatic in towards that second half, like I said in my review. But that didn't stop me from enjoying the film and really being impressed by Franklin Rich's debut and his directorial style. I thought it was, I liked how it split into chapters. I liked the storytelling of it, and I thought it was very effective. Number 9, I've got Infinity Pool. This is the next film from Brandon Cronenberg following Possessor from a few years ago. And I found this film to be, the more I sit with it, the more I enjoy it and the more I like it. That's why it made its way into the top 10. I thought it was going to be an honorable mention at first, but it really has made its way in the top 10 and is stuck at the number 9 spot. But based on the films that I have seen recently, I think this might be one of the films that will be knocked out by the end of the year. So I wanted to give its due at number 9. It's a very freaky, nightmarish film with some great performances, especially from Skarsgård and Mia Goth. And it'll really leave you thinking and changed, I think. I had a great discussion with my friend about the movie afterwards, and looking forward to And again, I'm also looking forward to what Brandon Cronenberg gives us next. Hopefully some more freaky scares, some more creepy shit, and some more just insane sequences like they have in Infinity Pool. 8, I have I Like Movies from Channel Levac. I talked about this most recently in my June video, and I talked about how I really liked the performance from Isaiah Leitonen and Romina Dugo, and all these themes like really stuck with me as a movie lover and as a filmmaker as well. And like I said, it'll stick with the people like that as well. I think even if you don't like movies, it's just been about a thing that you love. It's a thing that you can't let go of, that your whole life revolves around. I think everyone who has that who has that in their lives can attach themselves to that and relate to that. I think can still get something out of this movie. And like I said, the performances are great, the chemistry is great between Romina and Isaiah. This movie kind of fell under the radar this year as well because I think it released at festivals last year and it's finally got its release this year. So if you do find it on a streaming service or you can rent it on digital, give it a watch. I think it's well worth your time. And like I said, I think anyone can get something out of this one. And at number 7, I've got quite possibly the best action movie of the year, along with Dead Reckoning Part 1, of course, John Wick Chapter 4. This is, 4 movies into this franchise, and this might be my favorite one. I loved all the action sequences. I thought they were incredibly well performed and well choreographed. The staircase sequence, the weapons room sequence of all the nunchucks with Donnie Yen's character. I thought Bill Skarsgård brought it. I thought Clancy Brown was excellent in this, and all the Tokyo stuff with Hiroyuki Sanada, Rina Sawayama. It was great seeing her in this, and she actually ended up being such a substantial role in the film that I came away from this just really fucking loving it. I haven't seen it again, but I'm very much looking forward to, before we get back to that end of the year, before we go to that end of year list, looking forward to watching this one again and see if this still stays in the ranks, because honestly, this is some of the best action filmmaking I've ever fucking seen. It's a strong competitor for my favorite John Wick movie and a very strong competitor for my favorite action movie of the year. And then at number 6, I have How to Blow Up a Pipeline. Again, I talked about this in my June video. This was the film from Daniel Goldhaber about a bunch of environmental activists planning to blow up this pipeline. The film was split into chapters that focus on each character, and I thought each of those sequences worked really well. I found some characters more interesting than others, but I think everyone is going to watch this is going to attach themselves, again, find that character that they like, attach themselves to that character, and really get on with their board with their story. But you can also get on board with all of these characters as well, and their mission to go through with this. It's electric. It's electric filmmaking. It's volatile, as I said in my June video, and it's very, very tense with an amazing score. One of the best movies of the year. If I could tell you guys to seek out any of these top 10 films, please have it be one of, and if we could choose a few, please have it be How to Blow Up a Pipeline. Now, at number 4, this one, it bounced around a lot in this list, and I have seen this movie 3 times, I think now, and it bounced around a lot. It was sitting lower, but then I couldn't really help and fight my feelings about it and how strongly I felt about it, and felt about not only its existence, but its time, the time it's come, and just the characters, man. I absolutely love these characters, and I thought this was the best entry in these films. Now I'm thinking about it, now I've marinated on it. I think this is the best entry in these films. It's the best, it's the most well made, it's the most confident, it's the most heartwarming and emotional. And that is, of course, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Pretty much everything I said. I was really affected by this movie. I love the attention on Rocket and his friends, and James Gunn just delivered such an emotional, impactful, but also fun, again, and humorous film with just these characters who I've loved for years. And I thought it was, if this is the last movie for them, I thought it was a great send-off. At number 3, now, I know this one, it's hard. This was going to be, I thought this was number 1 at first. I don't know if I thought it was number 2. But, man, it's hard. But I'm breaking a lot of hearts right now. But number 3 is Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. When I came out of this movie, I was like, yeah, 5 stars, done. That is the best movie of the year. I fucking loved it. The animation, everything blew me away. And everything I think about it, everything I talked about in the podcast as well, just blew me away. Incredible animation. The way it just seamlessly goes together just absolutely blows my mind. It is the movie on this list that I'm like, how the fuck did they do this? Like, how did they do this? An incredible feat in animation filmmaking. And I love the stories. Miles' story, Gwen's arc, and I really loved how it ended. I thought that was good. I liked the ending. What I didn't talk about so much in my review on the podcast was Daniel Pemberton's score, because the first movie had a good score as well, had a good soundtrack, but this time around, the score just fucking hit. It fucking hit, and Pemberton just went off with this score. I've been playing it on Spotify, been listening to it a lot, and yeah, one of my favorite scores of the year so far. And again, as my number 3, one of my favorite films of the year so far. It'll probably stay on the list. Let's be honest, it will probably stay on the list. I'm looking forward to so many repeated viewings of this and finding out more stuff, because I've only seen this twice. I guarantee you, like, on more rewatches, I'll be doing the Leo DiCaprio meme and pointing at everything and then finding everything out and finding new things to love about the film. So I could talk all day about it. But it has to be. It was fighting. It was fighting. It was bouncing around. Look, I could say my 2 and 3 could be interchangeable, but I do feel more strongly about my next 2 films. But there is no doubt in my mind that this is one of the best movies of the year. Number 2, it's still living on my mind. I'm still thinking about it. There's just so much more to unpack, I think, as well, and so much more to talk about. And that's Bella's Afraid. Yeah, this was my number 1 anticipated film of the year. After coming out of it the first time, I was a little bit iffy on it. I was also kind of like, yeah, I think I loved it, but also I think I hated it. Like, I had some Babylon feelings with it. I can't get this movie out of my mind, and I can't get Joaquin Phoenix's face and his emotions and his mannerisms and Bo out of my mind. And yeah, man, fuck, like, there's so much more to unpack, and I do want to do an extended podcast episode on it and talk about more in spoiler depth why I like this movie and why it has had so much impact on me this year, and one of the most unique film experiences I've ever fucking had. And I agree with a lot of critics that I don't think we'll probably get anything like this ever again. This size with this budget, and it's still in there, man. Like Spider-Man, I can really appreciate. I can enjoy the animation. I can be like, wow, that blew me away. But in terms of like having a imprint on my brain, it has to be Bella's Afraid. And finally, my number 1 is a film that I talked about again in my June video. I drink every time I say that. Again, this is another film that fucking stuck with me. It has, I think, changed my year. It really made an impact on me this year based on everything I went through last year and based on all my current feelings about certain things and where I stand in my life. Because the character is around the same age as I am. You know, I can really relate and I can really relate to what she's going through and what the journey that she goes on. My number 1 is Davy Chow's Return to Seoul. I thought Park Ji-min, again, gave one of my favorite performances of the year. And she's going to be coming up I'll bring out another list, I think, soon with my favorite performances, because there are a lot of performances this year I want to highlight, and she's definitely one of them that I checked out. And yeah, this movie, it broke me. It shattered me. I cried. I don't know if anyone else shares this experience, but sometimes you watch a movie or you watch something, like a show or something, and it hits you so hard and it leaves such an impact on you that you need to like remove yourself from the space. And like, once you've marinated in it and once you've like, you know, gone through the credits and everything, like you just need to like remove yourself from the space. Like I tend to, if anything like this happens to me, I tend to go outside and just like stand on the porch and look up at the stars or something like that, and really just like think about my entire life and my entire existence and being. And yeah, it sounds silly, but that's what happens. And that's what films like this do to me. And that's why this film is staying at number 1, currently is still at number 1, even though I have seen 2 films that I think will make it back onto this list, perhaps at the end of the year. But this film is probably still number 1 for me, just because of how much it has impacted me and how much I have taken from it. I love art like this that can make us feel impacted like this and make us feel seen and make certain individuals like myself like feel seen and feel like they understand you, whereas like they're not talking to you personally, or they're not hitting you like they've made it just for you, but there's just something in it that you can find that you can really connect with, and that can really hit you hard. And that's what Return to Seoul did to me, and that's why it's my number one. So yeah, that's it. That's my top 10. Those are my honorable mentions of the year so far. Bit shorter than I thought it would be, but yeah, those are my quick thoughts. If you want to see more extensive thoughts on these movies, I mean, most of these top 4 here you can check out in my June video that I did before. Or you can listen to some thoughts on these other movies on the podcast that I run as well, which I plugged at the beginning of this video. So that's going to bring us to the end of this video, guys. Thanks for watching. Make sure to reach me if you want to reach me on any socials, ask me any questions or anything like that, want to talk. All of my social links will be in the description down below. Stay safe, and I'll see you next time.